The project that we are going to make today is how to make your own affirmation card deck. These can be personalized to your personality, and I hope that you will make and use these all throughout your life because it's a really cool project. So I'm really into recycling, and what I like to do is take like cracker boxes, cookie boxes, and cut them up into pieces and use these in my crafts. It's just a way to upcycle trash that we would normally throw away. Now, if you do not have any boxes that you can use, you could use watercolor paper, construction paper, anything that you have that you can turn into a little card. And I am cutting all of these cards to measure 3.5 by 5 inches. There's no rule for this. These just happen to be the size that I wanted to use. If you want, you could even get a deck of plain cards, maybe from the thrift store or the dollar store, and just decorate on top of those. You don't even have to cut up any paper like this, but I didn't have a stack of playing cards on hand, so we're using these upcycled boxes and some heavy watercolor paper. And when it comes to how many you want to make, that is totally up to you. Maybe you want to make 6, maybe you want to make 7, 1 for each day, maybe you want to make 52, 1 for each week, so you could pull a different card each week and make it be your theme. For this, I think I ended up with about 12 to 15 of these cards. Always remember that creativity is free. Just use what you have on hand and it will work out. Once you have all your cards cut, then it's time to gather other supplies. Markers, maybe some glitter pens, different types of glues, and watercolor brush and some water, and some paper to line your cards with. It doesn't have to be fancy. Old magazines, old book pages, wrapping paper, tissue paper, scrapbook paper, just any kind of paper that you can use to glue on the back of these cards to just give them a pop of color and artistry. Before we get to that step with the paper, we are going to use watercolor to add some color to one side of all of the cards. You can see this is a very loved watercolor travel kit that I have. I have taken this kit with me all over the world when I go to teach or travel or vacation. It has so many good memories on it. So just a general creativity life hack, get a little travel watercolor set. Trust me, you will love it. And what I'm doing now is I'm using a wide round brush and I'm just adding a thin coat of watercolor to all of these cards. First, I'm going in with one color and just kind of filling up the center of each card. I am one of those creative types where I like to cover every little spot. I am a maximalist. Now, if you're more on the minimalist side, you don't necessarily have to do this part, but I feel like just adding more personality to it makes it a lot more fun. Don't worry about doing detail on it. We're going to get to that later. Right now, we're simply laying down color to have these cards stand out from each other. If you don't have watercolors, you can use markers, you can use crayons, you could use acrylic craft paint watered down, just anything that you can find to add color to the backs of these cards. Now I'm going to go in with a second color. And again, just super watery, going in, filling out all of the borders. And you can use contrasting colors, or you could stick with the same color, maybe just a little bit deeper of a tone. And again, this is not a hard, fast rule. It's just simply a way to make it more visually appealing by having different colors on there. If you're the type where you want to keep it simple, you don't have to add as much color, but I really love just going in there and making the most of it. Once you've painted only one side of each card, you don't have to do both sides, because on the other side of the cards, we're going to line them with paper. This is where the gift wrap, the magazines, all of that come in. Now, as you're going through magazines, if there's any headlines that jump out at you, like little mini vision boards, you can go ahead and cut out any quotes or phrases that you like that you want to incorporate. So here I have a celebrity gossip magazine, and I like the black and white print because that way when I add designs on top of it, it will just be, it'll have a cool look to it. So what I'm going to do is take one of the cards and I'm going to stretch it out so it's nice and flat. Take a glue stick and you're going to look and see what part you want to have showing on your card, because we're going to glue it down and then the other side will show. So use your glue stick and line the back of the card nice and juicy, and then you're going to press it onto the page and seal it down really good. Make sure all the edges are covered, and then you can flip it over, maybe even tear out the page to make it easier to cut, and take your scissors and cut that out. And then what will happen is the other side of your card will have the lining of the magazine on it. You don't have to spend a lot of time overthinking this portion. All we're doing is creating backgrounds for these cards, because we're going to do some layering techniques, so you really won't even see a lot of this, but it's just to fill up space on the card and make it more interesting to look at. I really like to use what I have already instead of buying new supplies. So I looked through all of my stash. These are some papers that I have had forever and I haven't done anything with them. So I thought they would be great to use on my cards. So again, I had some with the magazine pages. I also made some with scrapbook paper, and then this is kind of like a gift wrap scrapbooking type of paper, and I like that it has a contrast to the black and white print that I used on the other ones. So by the time that you're done, you'll have a set of cards that's decorated on both sides. One side will have the watercolor background and the other side will have the collage background. And if it goes faster for you, you can just take one sheet of gift wrap and glue down all of your cards, not all of them, but a number of cards on there so that you can get a lot of coverage without doing a lot of work. Like that's what I did here. I was able to fit 5 cards on here for one sheet of paper. Okay, let's see where we're at. Here are my finished cards that are decorated on both sides, or I should say covered on both sides. And I'm going to go into some of those headlines that I saved from the magazines, and I'm going to use the glue stick and I'm just going to pop them on some of the cards. So this one says, "Look at her now." I thought that would be cute to add to one of the cards. And you can decorate the top, whichever side that you want. I suggest saving the watercolor painted side of your cards to write your affirmations on, because some of this paper is very slick and you'll need a certain kind of marker that will show up on it. So go ahead and create collages on the side that has the magazine papers, the gift wrap, the scrapbook paper. And you can go deep on this, make them as complicated as you want, or you can just keep it simple and maybe add some stickers. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I have a lot of cards going on here because I like to work in large batches. If you want, you can decide to make one affirmation card, and maybe you have a little kit where you have all of these supplies and you make one card a week or one card a month. There is another thing that people do with these. Are called artist trading cards, where you trade them with people, and that is really fun. However, this project, I want it to be all about you. It's a very personal project that is all about giving support to yourself and reminding you of the things maybe you need to hear more often. So work at your own pace that you feel comfortable with. Now we could leave the cards as is. They're looking pretty good like this, but let's add a finishing touch to these. Let's add some washi tape. This is not mandatory, but I think it makes the whole thing come together and it makes them feel weightier. It gives them a nice uniform look. The washi tape does not have to match unless you want it to match. You could find washi tape at the grocery store, at the craft store, at thrift stores, dollar stores. If you don't have washi tape, you could, just cut up paper and glue it on the side. It creates like a cute little border around each card. And I'm just going through each side and layering it and cutting off the excess. And that way each card will have a little frame around it. As you're going through and applying the washi tape, you may notice that sometimes washi tape is not sticky. If that's the case, simply use your glue stick to glue it in place so that it stays nice and secure, especially the corners, because sometimes those will peel up a little bit. But here I am just adding my washi tape around all of the edges of my cards. We are almost done. Look at how good these look. One side is ready to be journaled on with our little affirmation, and the other side has a little bit of collage work. So these look like they're finished, but I'm going to keep working on these. I have a little box where I'm going to keep these with my stickers and my pens so I can keep adding to them. Okay, this is where things get a little deep. We're going to write an affirmation on each card. So you may want to take a break from this video to sit down and go in a safe space where you can maybe journal or just take notes. What are the things that you need to hear that will help give you support, that will help cheer you on, that will give you a sense of hope, or just something that will maybe calm your nerves when you need it? No one's going to look at this but you. These are your cards for you, for your own self-care. It could also be not so serious. Maybe it's a favorite quote that you have, or a line from a movie, or a song lyric, or just something that really touches you. And I'm just going to start writing some things down that pop into my mind. And these are universal thoughts that all of us have at any age, any stage in our lives that are helpful. So the first one that came to me that said, I can figure things out one step at a time. How many times have you felt overwhelmed, like you just can't figure it out? So this is a little reminder that I can figure things out one step at a time. As you can see, this is the portion where we bust out our markers. Everything looks better with markers. So when you write your little saying on there, go in with some markers and zhuzh it up a little bit. Add some little doodles, polka dots, whatever you'd like. If you need help coming up with what to write on your cards, I have some ideas for you that I will attach to this video. So you could either use the ones that I'm sharing with you or see if they inspire other things that you can write. So this one says, I'm doing best with what I have today. And sometimes that's the best we can do. We got to work with what we have. So it's a reminder to have grace for ourselves when we don't have the tools that we need to get things done the way we want it to be done. We should be proud of ourselves for doing the best that we can with what we have and what we know at the time. I used a gold marker on this one, but it didn't really show up very good. So I went over it with a thin purple marker, and then it came out with a really cool highlighted effect. As you're going through writing down your notes on these, have fun with the lettering. Like, go through and thicken your letters. You could add the little feet on each letter to make it stand out and make it look more artful. Here are my finished cards. I did a whole set. Again, you can work at your own pace, and you're probably wondering, okay, how do I use these cards? There's lots of different ways. One way is to pull one every morning and read it and see what it says and have that kind of be your theme for the day. If you're into journaling, you can use it as a journal prompt. Maybe if you're with your friends, you could each pull one and talk about what it means to you, maybe answer some of the questions. Another idea is to put them all face down, and if you have a burning question, pull a card and see if it provides some sort of answer for you. Again, these are all based on your own intuition, your own thoughts, and your own energy. And what I think would be really cool to do is to use this throughout your whole lifetime. You can always create new cards to add to your deck. You can even go through and date each of them so you know when you made them and what you were thinking about when you made them. I think it would be such a beautiful story to have throughout your life, to look back on all of these, to tap into what you were thinking at this time. I cannot wait to see what you make. If you make these cards, please send me a message at craftychica.com, maybe a couple photos. You can tag me at Crafty Chica. Thank you so much for joining me, and you can find me all over social media at Crafty Chica, and I hope you have a great day.